Right. I really, really hope this is recording. Okay, so before you start, whoa, silence. Right, before you start building any app, what's the first thing that you should do?
Bundle.
None. None of what you just mentioned would happen. Yeah. No, the very first thing you'd do is obviously what you're going to be building, right? So what models you're going to be building, how your database is going to look, that kind of stuff. That's the important stuff to think about first before you start trying to build an app, because you can't build something you don't know what you're going to build, right? There is a tool. I showed this to Chris yesterday. This is something I stole from the course that I did. It's a database SQL drawer, but basically just helps you create tables and join tables and gives you some indication about what's going on. So you can all take this down. It's db.lewagon.com. We're going to be making our own soon anyway. So, but this basically helps you understand what you're going to be actually building. We don't have to build this. This is just based on what you did yesterday. Or my interpretation of what I set you to do yesterday. So you had student, teacher with a many-to-many relationship, and student labs. We did one-to-many on the board, but I changed it to many-to-many on here. So I put two join tables between them, one called exercises and one called lesson. And as you can see, student and teacher belong to lesson, and there's your join table. Yeah? Does everyone kind of questions? Go.
I don't know if I've got anyone else, but when we were doing this yesterday, we realised I've said we thought maybe we need to make a separate join class for students so that we could have many students for
Simple lesson. Otherwise, it's simple. You have a duplicate lessons.
Yes, exactly. So this is a very good point, and I'll be bringing you on to my next tab in just a second. This is what happens. So when you scale out and you get a big piece of paper and you start drawing all your sort of your tables on there, and you're like, right, yeah, so there's a join table here, and then you've got like lines going everywhere, scribbled out bits here, tables disappeared, right? Okay. Then you get to points like this. So yeah, even if we get to do it this way around, even if the lesson is the same lesson that everyone's going to be going to, you're duplicating it every single time. Like adding a name in here is literally the worst possible thing to do when you're building tables, because it doesn't blend in with a single source of truth. You don't want to be duplicating information, you just want referencing, that's it. So all of these are just IDs that reference different places. That's what single source of truth means, is referencing rather than duplicating. So with that in mind, if you were to actually build this out, and let's say we wanted to scale it up and we wanted to include the fact that it was a school, and let's say it was an app that multiple schools could have, so you could have one for Flattime, one for Lewagon, one for GA, one for Makers Academy, you would have to add different tables in there and have different join tables and models. So you'd do something like this. Actually, I have to zoom out. Okay. So first of all, where we're just discussing lesson, you have topic instead. So topic is going to be the same across the board. All the lessons are always going to be pretty static unless they want to add a new one, but it's not something you're going to change. You'll have a lesson, which will have a topic and a teacher and a student. And they're just references, so you can create as many of these database entries as you like, and it's not going to like crush your database or anything like that. Then your labs situation, we now have exercises. Exercises relate to the batch that you're in and the school that you're in, and teachers also belong to a school. Students belong to a school through exercises. And this is like, when you really come down to it, if you were to build a scalable app for multiple schools, this thing would be twice as big. There'd be so many things in there. But from a really basic standpoint, this is how things grow. This is why it's really important to map them out before you even press a single button inside the terminal. Because if you start something wrong, it just takes more time, you can get confused. So building stuff like this out is really important. But for today, we will just keep it at something quite straightforward and simple. So who has an idea for an app? And all we want is like, one many-to-many relationship, so a join table in there, and maybe a one-to-many relationship as well.
Let's just go with this dude.
No, let's do something more
What feels
interesting.
like a football team?
You could do football team.
Player,
So
manager,
our table is going to be player,
manager.
team. You want a manager as well, yeah?
I guess so. Yeah.
So manager will have many players. Yeah, go ahead, manager. Cool. Team or club?
Either or. So team, club,
Cool. Okay. So
It would be good if one of these was like a drop-down menu that is referring to another class. Then we can see that part as well.
yeah, so you could add a player to a list of teams.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be all right? Okay, so yeah, when you create a player, you need to add them to a team that already exists.
Fair.
Yeah, cool. So first table will be player. Then we'll have another table for team and another table for manager. Okay, so what now? Is there a many-to-many relationship in here?
Well, a team can have many players.
But does a player have many teams?
Well, if you assume that. I mean, if you're looking at it from a different, like, if you're looking at it from a real life, a player could have many teams.
Like nothing here, these three are one.
So
One times that they are just one team.
Why can't
Yeah,
it
player
be
can have
okay,
responses.
So that-
it's a many-to-many.
So that a player just has one team,
So-
but a team has many players.
Yeah, good.
But a team can have many managers.
Let's say coach starter,
I think you should
team
put
starter instead of manager, and we have a
Okay.
many-to-many relationship.
sponsor.
Well,
Put sponsor in
Just
there.
A man- a
do player
manager-
instead of player.
a manager could technically be a joint table between the two, right?
Player belongs to.
Okay. All right. So what do you want? What's the next table?
Sponsor.
Sponsor. Nice. All right. Okay. So our
Wait, actually, if you do put fans in, it does, fans could probably be of like, yeah.
people feel like we're massively complicating this, but let's go. let's add a fan in there as well. Okay. So let's get rid of sponsor. Yeah, let's do that. Fans can have, fan can have many teams, right? So we'll create a join table between the fan and the team. They're annoying, these fans. Okay, so fan has many teams, oddly. What's the join table called? Fan teams is as good as any. Do fan teams, okay. So what's fan teams going to have on its table?
Shouldn't that be singular at this point?
Yeah, it probably should be. Yep. Okay, so yeah, fan team's going to have a fan ID and a team ID. Okay, so team ID, fan ID. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Let's put that on there. Okay. So what, team ID for player? Okay. Everyone agree that's what we're building?
Yeah, we should use my names and stuff.
See, I'm like, I don't know, because I feel like a player can have multiple fans through a team, but
I think they're all very related.
I guess you got so many different ways to do it, but I mean, if that's the way you want to do it, then.
Yeah, but a player has many fans through.
You can definitely do player has many fans through team and fan teams.
Yeah.
There's no issues doing that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone happy? Right. Start going. So what should we call this? Soccer manager, football manager, Copyright manager. Yeah. So Rails new football manager. Okay. So what's the first thing I'm going to do once this finishes? Okay. We always start with models. Rule, yeah? So Rails generate model. What's the first one? I think go for player first. Player, what attributes does a player have?
Does it need to be capitalized, the player or?
No.
Position, what name?
Name, position. I don't need to specify string in here because they will automatically go to strings. And yep. Let's do a number as well, and then team references. Yeah.
Have we done that?
Yeah, I think so.
There was an option in one of those.
Oop, what's happened here? Oh yeah. How about I go into cool. Right, next one. Rails G model fan. Fan has name. What else does a fan have? We'll just go for name. Like, there's just a fan, right? Cool. Rails generate model. What now? Team. What does the team have? Town. Let's go for town. Town's fine. So team, name town, perfect. Rails generate model. What else? Manager, and he has a name, and he has a team. No, don't do salaries. Yeah. Okay. What about the join table? Fan teams, I think, wasn't it? Generate model. Fan teams, which takes in fan teams. No, yeah. Point. References and a team references. Cool. So if we open it up, okay, for some reason this stays quite small. So in our DB migrate, so all of our migrations are in there. The references side of things gives you this, which is pretty much the same as saying team ID, but this is the proper Rails way of actually registering it as a foreign key. Okay, so we've got all of these in here. In our models, we haven't got models. Yes, we have. We've got models. We've got fan team, creates the belongs to relationships already as well, which is quite useful. So what's the next stage?
Wait.
Seed, migrate. Cool. Rails DB migrate.
Quick question.
Question?
How did you manage to have the relationships in there already?
Yeah, as soon as you put in, rather than putting in team ID integer, which is the old way of doing it, if you just put team references, it will create the relationship for you. It won't do the has many, that bit you have to do yourselves, but it will create the belongs to. Okay? Cool. Okay, so we have migrated now. I don't need to go to there. So our schema, here we go, fan teams, fan ID, team ID. So that all looks correct. What do I do now? If I've just checked my schema and it seems to be okay, but how would I know? Rails console. Right, so fan.new, brilliant. Team.new, great. Player.new, super duper. What's it? Fan team. Oh, that's it. Great. Yeah. So they all look to be good to me. Yeah. Everyone excited? Okay. So great. Our app seems to be working on that side. Okay. So we've covered our model. We know it's looking okay for now. What would be the next stage? Yeah, we can build in the relationships. Yeah, that's fine. Don't mind doing that. So our team, what does our team have? Has many what? Players. Cool. So yeah, so our team has many players. Cool.
What's the difference between has one
Yeah, belongs to is like
specifically for joining us?
yeah. If you do a belongs to, the relationships on the side that that's created. So I'm trying to think. Actually, do you know?
The other side, right?
I don't even know if it actually would make a difference. Yeah, I think it's more just a case that you'd be able to do team.manager. Yeah.
Because the team doesn't belong to a manager, a manager belongs to the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you don't have the has one manager in there, when you try to do team.manager, it'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whereas if you do manager.team, it'll be like, yeah, cool. So yeah, just having the relationship in there just allows you to access it. So player belongs to.
I still need has many teams.
Oh yeah, cool. Has many fan teams, and has many cool fans through teams. Cool. This won't be in the test tomorrow, but it's really good to know. No, this bit I'm about to show you. Right, we've got this team here. If this team got deleted, and we've already built all these relationships up, we've got bits in our database that are all linked to the fact that this team exists. If I deleted the team, what's going to happen to those elements in the database? They'll still exist. They won't delete themselves. They will just be in the database floating around, causing havoc. So when you try to access a load of stuff and try to get information out of it, it's going to break your app. So you have something called dependent destroy. Okay. So if this team is deleted, it will delete the register of fan teams, and therefore there will be no relationship between this deleted team and the fans. Yeah? Make sense? Cool. We won't put it in there for the moment because it's not really necessary. So a fan has what? As many fan teams, yeah? What else does it have? Through. Cool. Anything else? No, I think it's fine. Cool. Right, so what would be the next stage? We've done our relationships, our model's all cool, we're happy.
Check relationships, make sure it works.
Yeah, we can do that. So if we did player dot new, actually player belongs to a team. So we could do a player dot new, but really we need a team first. So team dot new. What does the team have? New as a name. FC Flatiron. Town Lon Don. Cool. So we've got a team. What do we need to do with that team? Save it. Cool. Now we have player equals player. Dot new. And they have name, which is Frank. Well, they have number.
Position.
Is it position? Left back in the locker room. Forward, and do they have a number?
Yeah.
Okay. Bit of a problem with number because I forgot to do something. It's a string. Number 7. That'll be fine. Okay, so now we will just save player to our database, but we also need to add a team, right? Player.team equals team. Player dot. Hurrah! It all works. So now if I do player dot first dot team 3. Dope. And then yeah, cool. So that seems to be working. I think most of our other ones will be fine. I can't. Should I change the? No, I won't. I won't. Fine. Okay. So relationships work. What next? Routes. So that would be the controllers, yeah?
No, the config.
You want to do the routes?
Do the resources.
Okay. We'll do that in a minute. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to create the controllers. Controller for player, and we're going to have full CRUD action for a player. Yeah? Okay. So this isn't scaffolding. This is perfectly legal to do. But it does create a few things for you. So Rails G controller player will just create an empty controller, it won't do anything. But if I add in index, show, new, and edit, I can add the rest of them in there as well. But if I do these, this will create our controller with some of the methods already pre-filled, just in there, which is fine. That's not really the important bit. But it also creates, yeah, actually I need to add So I forgot to add S's into here as well. That would help, wouldn't it?
But you can't use that for the update or the create or the destroy.
You can, but what it will do, annoyingly, is create views for those actions as well.
I thought it was to make them get requests rather than posts.
Yeah, it will do. So this is the thing. So when you get to your roots, it just does that. Now this is all well and good, and these will actually work. These will be fine. You don't have to do resources on these ones, but just putting resources, player, and what do we do resources for? Actually, we're doing full CRUD action on here, aren't we? So fine, cool. And then what would I do next to check that that works? Yep. Toots. Cool. That's all working. Okay, so we'll just quickly create the other controllers. Browse, generate. Actually,
I think you might also need to rename the file name of your controller. Add an S onto the file name.
just done that.
You did
I
it.
did, yeah, I forgot. Teams. Managers. Fans. Cool. Do you have anything else? Team. Cool. Reload.
No, what I meant was the actual file name, like player controller.
Oh, here. Yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, yeah, what am I doing? Sorry. There we go. It's got it in there. It's fine. Okay. Team. Jack. Fan. Cool. What next? Anybody? There are the controllers, yeah.
Should they control teams?
Yes, the resources need to be. So in,
They do.
grids config,
Yeah, good point.
players, teams.
That's better. Okay, so what would you want to do next? Sorted out our routes.
Is there like any reason why we would like in a normal app like this need a custom route?
Yes, not in an app like this particularly, but if you'll be, when you build your own projects, you will have custom routes. Like these ones are just literally the standard new show create. So you'll have other routes that will do different things. You want to go to like admin dashboards and like different pages and things. So you will have to create separate routes for those.
We worry about that tomorrow, or
No, not for tomorrow. Absolutely not.
Because that's like based on what you want to do on your own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, your own app will deviate from the standard stuff quite quickly because you'll just have so many different things that aren't standard.
We kind of did do it too a little bit. I think we had an exercise or something that's where like it was no longer like just show and that. So it was like a completely different name for whatever app it was. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome page. So yeah, for things like pages where you have like contact about us, sort of really standard pages that most websites have. Rails would encourage you to actually create a pages controller and just have all of your random pages in there. So unless they're like specifically linked to a particular class or particular model, yeah, just have a single pages controller, and then you can put all your random pages in there. And then you could still do no, you can't do resources, but yeah, you just have to write in separately git and then put in your whatever path that is you want it. Yep. Cool. Okay, so we've got our root sorted, we have controllers sorted, but probably need to do a little bit more to our controllers.
Start filling in the method.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think we should build it the whole way through because you haven't got all day to be here. But if we were to, let's flesh out the player's controller and then we can just go from there. Okay, so what would I put in index? Our players equals what? Cool. So it's the same syntax the whole way through. So at player equals what? Nice. Okay, since we're going to be using this particular method quite a lot, what are we going to do with it? Yep. Okay, but how do we how do we enact this particular method? On line 2, here. Before action. Okay, cool. Yep, so every time that a new action is about to be called, before the action's called, it will set the player with inside it, and then it will finish the rest of the function. Yeah, cool. So show page, it's fine. New, what do we put in new? Why do we do this? Yeah, but why?
We don't want to say that we just want to use it for our form.
Yeah, because, yeah, so any of the attributes that you put in there, it knows what it's referring to. Yeah. So, it's, I mean, you literally don't have to have this to create a form inside your Rails app. It's just that it helps you. Not that one. Sorry. Back. There we go. Okay, so edit's done. Def creates. Now what do we put in here? Yep.
Why don't we just put it in before action?
What player create?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought we were in it.
Player params. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We did put in here on
team ID.
yeah. Yep. Happy? Cool. So player params. Then what?
Redirect to.
Yeah. We can just do that. So
Foundation.
yeah, we can use foundations as well. So normally inside your create method, this isn't enough. But for the sake of the challenge tomorrow, this is fine. But normally you would actually only create a new, and then you would say if player dot save, then do something. So this does the same as basically saying if player dot valid after you've created it, but it's more preferable to have if player dot save and then the exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is purely there so that if something goes wrong, it will show up in your console what happened. That's why. Okay, but we won't do that. So.
Why might it go wrong?
You've inserted some really dodgy params. Something else is wrong with your app, so it's allowed something else in that's not supposed to be there, and it throws an error. Yeah, there can be loads and loads and loads of reasons why why something might go wrong in there. So if something does go wrong, so it's actually probably more related to the validations that Ricky was just talking about. So if you have validations in there that say, for instance, you've got a uniqueness for email addresses. So someone else or yourself, you forgot that you signed up to this site already, you enter in your email address into the sign up form, you press the button, it goes round and goes, hang on a minute, this email address already exists, and that would create an error. That would stop it from saving into the database, and then it would kick you out and take you back to the form and give you an error saying this email address already exists. Yeah?
And it also does it if the params aren't plus, the strong params aren't plus. Yeah.
It'll probably throw up an error before that because you won't be able to actually add them into the right place. So it'd be like, what the hell's this that you've just given me? Or this thing's missing, or this bit's not attached in the right way. So yeah, redirect to player. You can do player path and then put this into brackets like that. But Rails is clever enough to know that you're looking for a single player will take you to that show page. Cool.
It's kind of funny to never mind.
What about this one? Yeah. Because we've actually already been given the correct player. Cool. Destroy. Oh. Sounds so bad, doesn't it? Redirect to. Yeah, because that'll take you back to the index. Okay. Nico.
You know in the strong params,
Yeah.
you put team ID.
Mhm.
Right? Sometimes we do like artist name, sometimes artist ID. Like, what's the kind of rule we should follow there? Like, what determines what we shove in there?
So if your if your class instance, so in this case a player, has an ID or is expecting an ID of another associated class. So in this case, it's got a team ID on it. By passing the team ID in, Rails knows that you're trying to search for. It literally takes it in as an integer. What happens in here is Rails understands that you're looking for an actual ID. When you pass through params, they're always strings. So even though it's a string, it will know to convert it into a number in order to find the right integer for the right team.
I mean, is there a join class between player and team?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, player belongs to team.
Okay. So there's okay.
So every player will.
Put in team name in there then.
You could do, but then you'd have to search through team to find the right team that matches the team, and then assign it the right ID. So in this circumstance, what we're doing is rather than creating a player who doesn't have a team, you know when I spoke to you about the other day about songs, so it's physically impossible to create a song without an artist. So you normally always have the artist first. The artist is always created. They're always there. And then the song just gets created within the artist.
But
Yeah.
okay, so if we say this is team ID, then is the only thing we need to kind of look out for this one is the form, and we need to put in team ID in there, or?
Yeah, well, you have like a collection of teams that you could assign the player to.
Okay, then we put ID,
Yeah.
Okay, and if it's not a checkbox, if it's just like if it was a team, and then it would create a new team if the team didn't exist yet.
If we do the checkboxes, yeah.
No.
Let's do that then, while we still have time.
Yeah. Yeah, you just basically you're just going to be taking a list down from another class, taking a list of all of the ones that are available and assigning it. We won't be, if you need to create a team, rather than doing it if it doesn't exist, then create it, which I don't think is the best way to do it, and probably for apps in general, it's not a very good way. It's not an efficient way because you only have to put one letter different, and you could have Barcelona FC, Barcelona Football Club. Yeah, you have every single one of them. They're all the same thing, but because they haven't selected it from a list, it's created new instances of this same team. So yeah, it's generally you just create a team, and then a player will be able to assign it to that team. Just do it separately. Okay. Yeah, so we've already got, players, got these empty locations here. So So got no players to put in there. But should start with a new. Yes.
Can you explain the difference between Form 4 and Form 10?
Nope. Genuinely can't. They are both.
In the scope of the test tomorrow,
Yeah.
we
So-
should use Form 4.
You should use whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah,
They're-
but
they're-
if we're doing a standard product application,
If you're doing new forms, generally the way that they teach you here is that if you're creating a new form, or your edit forms and stuff like that, Form 4 is the best way forward because it's directly associated with that particular instance of the class. So Form 4 is kind of built for that. Form tag is basically allows you to be more custom, so you can actually build like custom forms for slightly different, weird, odd situations.
So say if we had a form for edit and we were editing the player,
Yeah.
we could input a little delete button by using the f.submit tag within that form without having to have another form outside of it.
So say that.
Does that make sense? So when you click the submit button on the form,
Yep.
because it's associated with the new path,
Yeah.
when you click the f.submit, it takes you to the create controller, doesn't it?
Yes.
So could we essentially nest in another submit button into that form and use the submit tag approach and then have it redirect to another path that's outside of the scope of the form? Does that make sense?
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I guess anything's technically possible, right? The question would
I just
be.
want to see, like, can you use tags within Forms 4 and have other associations outside?
If you wanted to use form tag and stuff like that inside it, then there is. I'm pretty sure you can use it because all they're doing is they're just they're called syntactic sugar. So this is shorthand for real life HTML. That's all it is. So it prevents you from actually having to write as much HTML as you would normally. And obviously because it's built for Ruby, Form 4 does a load of helper stuff in the background for you. Yeah, that's why I don't really use form tag, because
it makes sense. It
yeah.
makes sense, but I was just wondering.
Yeah. So I think, did Dan show you there was a delete function, destroy? Yeah, and you used form tag for that. Yeah, I just showed him that you can use form 4 for the exact same thing. So
you would have that underneath, wouldn't you?
yeah, you wouldn't necessarily embed a form within a form, because that just would be weird, generally.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a scenario where you would build like 2 submit buttons for different parts. Don't know. Can't think of one. Okay, so f.label for their name. And what would I do next? Text field, yeah. Same thing. And these are going to be position, and these last two are going to be number, right? F.submit. Yeah,
Needs selection from the text.
it does. F.label team. Do team on the label, but yeah, we do f.action select would be team ID team. Oh, yeah. So because we're in the new part, if we wanted to access all of the teams that are available to us, what would you do? Yeah. So you've got 2 things. You can do team.all here, which is entirely fine. Or if you wanted to, you could put it in here and do @teams equal team.all. Totally up to you. You'll probably be encouraged to do this, which is fine. You know, it's really down to personal taste and opinion. And we're going to pass in the ID as the value to that form, and then we're just going to display the name of each team. Yeah. So this format that you have here, it stays pretty static the entire way through when you're doing standard CRUD actions within classes, sort of within models. So there's not a huge amount of change between any of them, which is good, because it just means it's basically repetition is going to make you better at doing this part. Cool. Any other questions?
If you put team IDs plural, does it do the same thing? Or?
That would be, it'd be different. So that would be a case of, let's say we had this situation where a player can play for multiple teams, and you wanted to accept an array of team IDs, then team IDs would be representative of what you actually want to send in. But we're only doing one, we're only selecting one. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so that form's done. But what else can we do with our form? Because we're going to use it for new and we're going to use it for edit as well. So rather than copying and pasting it twice, partial. Okay, how do I call a partial? What is it?
Oh, that's a partial.
That's a partial. Okay, so here is our form. And then what would I put in here? Ta-da! Yeah? Okay. Okay, what other things can we add in? Delete, now edit, yeah. So, I'm going to do it as a form 4. And we can do it on player. And all I need to do is put method destroy. Oh. That is it. Oh, and
Could you show us how to do it as a link to it as well?
as a link to,
Yes.
yeah, I think.
Could you show us all of them? One with a F
Form
form
tab.
tab or whatever, yeah.
Okay. Delete. So this would go to so player delete. So player path. Nope. And method would be destroy. I think that's right. Does that look right? Great. That's from deep memory somewhere. Yeah. So form tag, I'm shit. So you tell me.
Yeah,
I think-
just wondering the difference.
Yeah, I think form tag you literally would put in player ID, and then you would have method. Still method as well, isn't it? Is it destroy or delete?
I have delete from the last step, but
I think you know what? I think it's one of these Rails things where it probably actually makes zero difference. So we'll go with both. We'll see what happens.
For
And then you need a
Just different methods that you can redirect to later.
yeah.
But you said that for tomorrow we need to know the form tag or something, right? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a look at it, but yeah, just learn it.
Yeah, I just kind of want to see it.
So it'd be. Is it still f.submit?
Submit tag.
Submit tag.
Yeah, actually there is no F at all, but I don't know if I'm
Oh, it's just submit tag.
yeah. Submit tag and then open parentheses delete. But it's just the name.
So like that.
No, on the
Oh, on the submit. Is it colon delete or just delete?
delete in quotes. And that's it.
Odd. Okay.
you still need to do that.
No, probably not. Okay. Loads of ways. Where are we? So if we have our edit thing, we'll just do a link as well to go back. Players path. Anything else? Index. What do you want? All players. We want a link to.
Are you sure you're recording?
No, not at all. Create player. Player path. No. New player path. New player path. And then we will have in here oh yeah, it keeps doing that. Every time I type P, it disappears. Okay.
Let's go past the special root character. Would it actually work?
I don't think it matters, to be honest. It's just representative of player because now it's just an array.
I mean, because the P prints out things, you know, P stuff in the root.
I don't think, I don't know. Is your understanding?
Actually, it might do, yeah.
Or it just freaks out about like the P.
Going nuts on it, yeah. Actually, that does actually make sense. Okay, so we wanted this in line. Try that again. Line item with link to. Actually, just put it in here. So, yeah. Player path. Cool. All right, let's do a bit of seeding. So
Yeah, can we have a look?
you can have a look at the forms. All right, Frank. What have we got? Hang on, what have we got? Oh, I know one. Sorry. Guys, done that. Frank. Create a player. So name. My name's Jeff. Position defense. 3. FC flat iron. Boom. All right, yeah, we haven't done that bit yet. So if we just go back to there. 3. Jeff and Frank. All right. So yeah, we need to sort out the show page. H1 player dot name. Oh. What was it? Number. Last one. It's going to look so pretty. Team. Good point. Pardon? No, so Abrel was saying, so we pass in the team ID, but it will associate an actual team instance with it. Yes. I will just get the instance in there. Yep, cool. So link to for to index as path, and we need an edit. Player should be edit player path. Player. Delete. No, we do that in the edit. Oh, we got that. Cool. Jeff. Nice. Oh. Undefined method map. Nil class. This happened before. Anybody? No. Dust. Sorry.
Why did it work in the new case and on the other?
Oh, I know why. At Teams.
Well, actually, it's at player.teams.
Oh, is it? Oh, what do I do? No, Teams, edit. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So yeah, have a update. Yeah, so this one with the where's the edit here? So the first one.
Got it into the form underscore form. Sorry,
Specify the name of the
All right. Okay. So let's see if we can update our player. We can. And oh, we have to try all the different delete methods. Which one should we go for? Bottom one. That's the one I'm least confident about. Couldn't find player.
Because it's interpolated.
Yeah.
And there is also
Sure.
do that. I don't know what it does, to be honest. Because it's closed without doing anything. But
So this is why I don't use form tags. So I'd have to .id. Wowzers. Okay. So yeah, this now goes to players to, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Method post.
Input hidden underneath it.
Oh yeah, the delete, yeah, cool. So these all should go to roughly the same place. Data method destroy. I don't know if this one would work.
Yeah, I think it needs to be delete
Yeah.
rather than destroy the method.
Okay, so this one. Oh, does work. Cool.